Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. I thought I would share a fun video with you today, just sharing a few of the meals that I cooked over the last few days. And also I'm going to be sharing some fun advent calendar ideas with you for my older kids. This year I'm doing custom advent calendars for them because I couldn't really find any that suited their age groups, and I thought it would be fun to include some individual personalized gifts, and you are not going to want to miss this delicious veggie and cheese enchilada recipe. Thank you so much to Built Bar for sponsoring today's video. You guys know I've been working with them for a long time, and they have several new flavors out right now in the Built Puffs. They have the lemon dipped cheesecake as well as the ruby chocolate, and then they also have a caramel almond delight, all of which are delicious, so definitely check those out. If you are not familiar with Built Bar, they make a variety of different bars and they have something to really suit every taste. If you're not sure on what you would like, I would encourage you to order the variety box because they have a ton of different flavors. All of them are really high in protein, low in sugar, and lower in calories, and they really taste like you're having a treat without the guilt. So if you want to try them out, definitely check out the link in my description box below and use the code JenChapin10 to get 10% off your first order. So we're starting out this video with a breakfast. I am going to be making some chicken fried steak for Adam, and this is one of his favorite breakfasts. I don't make it super often just because if it's homemade, it is kind of a lot of work and you have to have like the tenderized cube steak and all the things. But on this day, I was really taking the easy way out, as you will see, because I am using store-bought biscuits in store-bought chicken fried steak. So I put the biscuits out on a tray lined with parchment paper here, and I'm just sticking those in the oven and baking them per the package directions. I always feel like you need to have hash browns or some type of potato chicken fried steak because you have the gravy, and that needs to go on both the meat and the potatoes, obviously. So I'm just putting some frozen hash browns into a nonstick skillet that I put some butter and oil in. And while that is working, I am going to make some coffee. I found this dark chocolate hazelnut coffee K-Cups at Aldi, and I just posted an Aldi haul yesterday, so if you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely check out that video. But that coffee is awesome and I would definitely recommend it. So I also had a packet of country gravy in my pantry, and this was actually one that I had gotten free from Hy-Vee on a coupon deal, so I needed to use it up. I'm just mixing it up in a sauce pot with some water and some milk, and you can see that my potatoes have gotten a little bit crispy here. I did go ahead and cook the chicken fried steak in the air fryer, so I didn't really show much of that, but it got really crispy and delicious. And of course I had to also fry up some eggs with this breakfast. So I did break the yolks a little bit because I wasn't being very careful with them. But at the end of the day, anything with gravy is delicious, right? So I've had Adam's plate here. I have two chicken fried steaks with some potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, and some eggs on the side. A delicious breakfast. Hey guys, so I thought I would pop in here really quick and share with you the advent calendars I am working on this year for my kids. So these are going to be custom advent calendars, and I ordered these this year from Amazon. I can link them down below, but basically it's kind of like a wooden box, and they come blank with drawers in them, so you can fill them up yourself. And I have been getting my kids advent calendars since like the beginning of time when they were really little, just because I think it's really fun for them. But as the years have gone on and as they've gotten older, it's been harder and harder for me to find things that really sort of engage them every day, especially my daughter. She's like 12 now and she's in middle school, and so a lot of the advent calendars are sort of more like kid themed. She's okay with that, you know, some of the time, but sometimes it gets kind of like a little bit childish, and then some of them are just like chocolate and it's kind of boring. So I kind of wanted to do something custom this year, so I thought I would share it with you guys. Okay, so I got this box full of fidget toys on Amazon because I thought this would be something that Connor would really like. He is really into like fidget things, so I thought that would work really well in his. I'll kind of just show you how I'm filling this up as I go along. I'm probably going to have to improvise a little bit because some of these drawers are like super small. And I know I want to put cash in some of these. Not like a lot, just maybe like $1 here and there, but I don't have any on me right now because everything that's been going on, I just haven't had time. I haven't had time to go out and get cash. So the first day for Kira's, I'm going to put some of this Clarins lip shimmer. I got this in a big pack, but I think she'll enjoy this. And I can link this down below. They have it in like a really large package, but that can be her day one. And then day one for Connor, let's see, I think I will put him, there's this like little squishy toy in the fidget toy box, and I will also put a Ferrero Rocher because he doesn't love that, right? All right. Oh God, it's falling out. All right, there's day one for Connor. Oh my God, those truffles smell delicious. I would like to have one right now. I might have one. Day two is the same small little thing. So I'll put one of these in here for Kira. And what, a lip balm maybe? I don't know, is there a, maybe there's a, oh, here's a little fidget thing that she might like, maybe. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's in this box. Oh, here's maybe a little, here's a little pig. Little pig, let me in. That's how it goes. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Okay. Well, day two, there you go. Of course, there's gonna be dog hair and everything because that's how it works here. What's this? This is a peanut. A peanut with little pink peanuts inside. Oh, Connor's gonna think that's super dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, my plan is to fill these up until like, you know, half the month, and then I'll have the rest of the month to like fill up the rest. I don't have to do it like all at once, right? I mean, that's my plan. Okay, so day three, I got these Tic Tacs for them, so I can do that. Maybe we'll do Tic Tacs and what? I don't know, man. Tic Tacs and Starburst? That doesn't fit. Tic Tacs. Maybe just Tic Tacs. Maybe that's all they get. Or they get Starburst gum. Yeah, we'll do that on day three. They don't need to get 2 things a day. Sorry, kids. All right, I'm gonna finish filling this up and I'll show you guys. All right, so I'm really very excited about these for the kids. Let me show you. So I labeled these K and C for Kira and Connor, but as you can see, I basically put some little treats in there for every single one of the days. I really like this because I feel like you can do, you know, like custom gifts, and some of them I had to take out of the package. Like this is a mini game or something like that I had to take out of the package, but some of them are just like candy, and then some of them are little things like lip gloss or fidget toys or, you know, candy coins or Tic Tacs. In one of these I put like a pair of fuzzy socks for Kira. There's like Legos, and yeah, I don't know. I just think it's super cool, and I think they're really gonna like it. I was able to fit a Pez dispenser in day 11 with all of the paraphernalia. So I don't know. I just think they're really gonna like it, and I'm excited for them to see. So this one is like a, I don't know, some days will be bigger than others just because of the size of the drawers, but this one is, I don't know, I just picked up all of this stuff at Walmart, except the fidget toys I got on Amazon. This is like some type of like ASMR thing with a ring, or I'm sorry, a bottle pop and a fidget toy. There's like Reese's trees, and I don't know. I just think doesn't have some of them I still need to fill up, like the days that are coming up towards the end of the month, but I don't know. I just really think they're gonna like them. And like I said, I'll link these down below. I know this video is going up towards the end of November, but I do think that you can get this in enough time to do it for your kids if you want to share a super special advent calendar with them. Okay, so I'm gonna make a batch of these chunky banana brand muffins. This is an old recipe that I printed off years ago from Food Network. It's an Ina Garten recipe. I have a family member that really likes these, and so I'm going to give these to them. But let me show you the ingredients that you'll need. These are pretty healthy. They have a lot of like nuts, raisins, bran, wheat bran, bananas, things like that. So if you're looking for a healthy breakfast muffin, these definitely fit the bill. So I've got some molasses here, some wheat germ. This is something that I don't buy very often, and it can be kind of hard to find in the grocery store. They do have this in the cereal aisle, like by the oatmeal in my grocery store, so check there. I've got some buttermilk, a half a stick of butter that I softened, a quarter cup of brown sugar, 2 eggs. We'll need some raisins, some walnuts, about a cup of bananas diced up. Usually that's about 2 bananas, some orange zest, some vanilla, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. I have that mixed in with my flour right here. Okay, so the first step is to combine 1 cup of the buttermilk with 1 cup of the wheat bran, and then you can just stir that up and set it aside while you mix up the rest. All right, I've got my butter in the mixer bowl here. I'm just gonna add my brown sugar, and then we'll just cream that until it's fluffy. All right, we're gonna add the eggs and beat those in. Okay, so I'm gonna add some vanilla, and then I did add my orange zest in there, about a teaspoon of that. I'm gonna add the molasses. So I also added the buttermilk bran mixture, and I'm just gonna give this a mix. Okay, so I've got the rest of my ingredients in here, diced banana, walnuts, raisins, and I put the flour mixture in there. So I'm just gonna give this a mix just until it comes together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my silicone muffin tin just because I think it's going to be easier to get these out once they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these in a 350-degree oven for 25 minutes or until they're cooked through. All right, here are my muffins cooling. I did take them out a couple minutes early. I have been noticing with my oven that I don't need to bake things as long as the packaging says, so I probably need to start like doing, less time. But you can see these came out of the muffin tin really well, or silicone muffin tin. I would recommend using one of those if you don't have one, but I'm gonna let these cool and then I will pack them up. Okay, so the next recipe I'm going to share with you guys, I kind of made for a meal prep, and then I also gave some to family, but this is a pinto bean and Swiss chard enchilada. It comes out of one of my vegan cookbooks by America's Test Kitchen. I really think that even if you're not vegan, which obviously I'm not, you would still enjoy this cookbook. I've made this recipe before, and it's really good, and it's a great way to use up greens, and it's also a great way to just kind of have a meatless meal if that's something that you're interested in. But I'm going to start out by cutting up my Swiss chard. I have probably about 3/4 pound of it here, and you can chop up the stems and add them into the enchiladas. I try not to do too many of them because I do find that if you include more of the stems that it does tend to make the filling a little bit bitter, but just make sure that you cook them down. And these enchiladas are filled with Swiss chard, onions, bell peppers, and pinto beans, and I'm going to be putting a little bit of white Mexican melting cheese in these also, but obviously if you're vegan you can leave the cheese out. Next, I'm going to chop up some onion. You'll need 2 onions for this recipe, and I will link this cookbook down below as well if you're interested in checking it out. We're going to need 2 onions for this recipe, and one of the onions is going to be used in the actual enchilada sauce. I really like this recipe because it does use a homemade enchilada sauce as opposed to a canned or a jarred version. I personally think that, I mean, obviously I have made lots of enchiladas with canned enchilada sauce, but if you've never made it before, I would encourage you to do so. It just tastes so much better homemade than the stuff in the can. And for the onions in the sauce, we're going to try and chop those up a little bit finer, just to make sure that we don't have big chunks of onion in the sauce. So I have a saucepan here, one with a pretty thick bottom so that my onions don't burn. I added about a tablespoon of olive oil to that, and I'm just going to put my chopped onions in there, and then we'll get to these sauteing. This is optional, but I did add a little pat of butter in there. I just had it sitting out on the counter for a different recipe. It was left over, so I decided to throw it in. Once your onions are cooked, you can go ahead and add your spice mixture. So I've got chili powder, cumin, salt, and some minced garlic. And then I'm just going to stir that around to kind of wake up and toast the spices a little bit. Next, we're going to add in some water and then also a can of plain tomato sauce. This is a 15-ounce can, or you can use 2 8-ounce cans. And that's basically it. You stir this up and you kind of simmer it over low heat until everything comes together and it's thickened. At that point, you can taste it. And if you think it needs salt or pepper, you can add that as you need to. And then just go ahead and set that aside to cool while we make the rest of the filling. For the filling, you'll also need some chopped bell pepper. The original recipe calls for green bell pepper, but I just use whatever I have on hand. I had these red peppers on hand, and I thought it would look really pretty with the green Swiss chard. So I'm going to go ahead and dice these up. I've already cut them off the core and washed them in my salad spinner, and I'm just cutting these up into a fine dice. Okay, so I've got a Dutch oven here, and I have some oil in the bottom of that, and I'm just sauteing 1 chopped onion with my 2 chopped bell peppers, and I also added a little bit of salt just to season and start drawing out the moisture. After those are sauteed a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add all of my Swiss chard. This will obviously wilt down quite a bit, so don't be alarmed if it starts out looking like a lot of filling. We're just going to stir this around and cook it down until everything is well combined, and season it with salt and pepper. And the last step is to add the beans. So I have about half a can of pinto beans here on a plate, and I'm just mashing those up with a fork. I'm going to put the other half of the can in whole, but you do want to mash some of the beans to kind of help thicken up the texture of the filling in your enchiladas. So dump your beans in and go ahead and stir those around. Once everything comes together, you'll also add a little bit of the enchilada sauce just to bring the filling together. You don't have to add very much, maybe just 1/4 of a cup. Stir it up, let it cool, and then you're ready to fill your enchiladas. Enchiladas are a really great make-ahead meal. Like I said, I made some of these for myself. I also gave some to family members, and they also freeze really well. Okay, so this is the cheese that I'm using for these enchiladas. It's the queso Chihuahua, which is a white Mexican melting cheese. It's really, really delicious. Now, one of the things that I actually learned from watching YouTube videos from Simply Mama Cooks, if you don't watch her channel, I would highly recommend it. She makes a lot of great food, but one of the things that she shared when she makes enchiladas is she actually puts the cheese in sliced, and it's a lot less messy than trying to shred it and kind of like keep it inside the enchilada. So I did try that this time, and it worked really, really, really can't talk well, so I would definitely recommend that. So I just have some corn tortillas here, and I have heated these in the microwave just a little bit to kind of soften them up. I'm dipping them into the enchilada sauce, adding some of the bean filling, some slices of cheese, and rolling those up and getting them into a baking dish. I'm going to be using several disposable baking dishes just because I'm sharing this with folks, but you could put these in a big 9x13 dish as well. I'm going to top with a little more of the grated queso chihuahua, and that is what it looks like before it goes into the oven. Really delicious. I would probably bake these covered with foil for about 20 minutes and then just take the foil off and let the cheese kind of brown a little bit. This is what they look like. I made these for myself for dinner on this night, and then my family actually had pancakes and bacon, which you'll see here in a little bit. I'm not the hugest fan of breakfast for dinner. I would much rather have enchiladas every day. So I spooned a little bit of Mexican crema over this along with some lime and cilantro. Delicious recipe. I would highly encourage you to try it. So my family is a strong no on the Swiss chard enchiladas. So when I was making those on this night, I decided to make them breakfast for dinner, and they love that. I haven't made it in a few weeks, I would say. So it was definitely something super easy and quick. We've had a rough few weeks around here. I'll be talking about that later this week, but sometimes you just need quick and simple and easy, and breakfast for dinner is definitely one of those things. So I had a little bit of time. I decided to bake my bacon in the oven. I just put it out on a cooling rack inside of a sheet tray, pop it into the oven. I normally cook it at about 400 degrees or 425 for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. It really depends on how crispy you like your bacon. I'm also going to make some pancakes. I had some pancake mix in my pantry. I just did a pantry clean out and sort of reorganization a little bit ago, which you guys will be seeing soon. But this is the mix that calls for milk, oil, and eggs. And then I always add a little bit of vanilla because I think that adds a good flavor to it. And I always like to whisk the wet ingredients before I add the dry mix. I just find that everything gets more well combined that way, and you don't end up over mixing the batter. So I whisked that together and set that to the side while I let the griddle heat up. So I have this griddle, and a lot of people ask me where I got it. It actually came with my stove when we built our house, so I don't really have a source for it. It's something that I wasn't quite sure if I would use, but I actually do end up using it a fair amount. So here's that bacon when that came out of the oven. You can see how delicious and crispy that is, and it definitely makes less of a mess than having the bacon splatter all over your stove. So I'm going to give this first batch of pancakes a flip, and in that skillet over there, I just have some scrambled eggs going. I beat up some eggs, and I'm just cooking them up in a little bit of butter with salt and pepper, and just scrambling them slowly over medium to medium low heat until they are cooked through. Both Kira and Adam really like eggs with their pancakes. Connor is just mostly a fan of the bacon and pancakes. So here is a plate that I'm fixing for one of the kids, or Adam, I can't remember. I have a couple pancakes on there, some bacon, some eggs, and some strawberries. So definitely an easy dinner for this night. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate you being here and for your support, and I will see you back hopefully sometime this week for Vlogmas. Thanks so much, and have a great night.